All right, everyone. A few days ago, one of the former producers of The Apprentice said that in private, Donald Trump was fond of using the N-word, specifically related to Obama, and something about, well, they expect this N-word to win, or something to that effect. I thought, at first I'm like, hee hee, chuckle, chuckle. I'm like, oh shit, I've heard this story before. Supposedly Donald Trump had Russian hookers piss on the Obama's bed. There's a real problem with Barack, I'm assuming, which makes no sense since he doesn't care as long as he's getting money and was a member of the donor class at the time. Link in the description, archived of course. More salacious rumors. Just like Russiagate, that was never real. Just like, Trump and his people fucking around and framing Hunter Biden, that never happened. The laptop was Hunter's in Israel, along with all of the weird pictures on there. Mostly uninteresting, because I don't like looking at cocks, unless I'm looking in a mirror, and I don't like looking that much either. Hee hee. But, there were pictures of Joe Biden on the laptop, meeting with people he claimed he never met, and then we were told that it was just the illusion of influence. Yes, he talked about the weather to people, and they threw money at Hunter Biden for the novelty of getting a phone call once in a while by the former vice president. That made a whole lot of sense. Over and over and over again, with Donald Trump, we have salacious rumors from people who supposedly are in the know, and supposedly there's like audio of this, but I don't have the audio, and I'm not surprised in the least. Now, maybe they're holding it back for an October surprise. You're telling me, because The Apprentice ran on TV quite some time ago, right? This is back in the Bush administration. You're telling, the rising Bush administration and the beginning of the Obama administration. You're telling me that somebody has audio of Trump actually using the N-word, which has been rumored before anyway, but they've never released it to the public before. Did you misplace the DVD or the flash drive on which this was present? Because that seems to be a recurring facet of claims about Donald Trump. I wouldn't care even if he did say this, because in the context he's sort of talking about the racism of white political class against black people, which is actually interesting. I doubt it, though. I doubt it like I doubt any claim about any politician unless there's corroboration. Like with Me Too cases. Okay, somebody has a couple claimants claiming that they sexually assaulted them 15 years ago. Where's the proof? Is there any form of evidence whatsoever for the claims that you're making? The bigger the claim is, the more proof I'm going to want. So with Al Franken, where I've got a picture of him groping a sleeping reporter, that's acceptable. We have corroboration. We have an actual picture of this happening. They tried to claim that the legal team said it was actually part of a skit or a joke or something that never came from the actual litigant in that case, which was extremely sleazy, underhanded, and should have led to somebody getting disbarred, but nothing ever happened to them. I'm not exactly sure what the source was, so prosecuting them would be a little bit more difficult. But if you just say, hey, that happened, and you don't have a picture, there's no rape kit or anything like that, then I say, well, then fuck you, basically. The same is true like with the Jean Carroll case. I don't believe Jean Carroll because there's absolutely no corroborating evidence whatsoever of any kind. Trump has been repeatedly punished and litigated against in a case where there is literally nothing. There's no witness. There's no rape kit. There's no picture. There's no video. There's no audio. You got literally nothing other than a claim. Apparently, the litmus test these days is if you're a political outsider, anyone can claim whatever they want about you, and it doesn't matter if they can pony up so much as a single text message to even establish that you were in the place that they say that you were in at the time that a crime supposedly occurred. This wouldn't be a crime. It would be politically inconvenient. Well, then release the audio. You can trump the Trump, right? You've got Trump dead to rights. You've got an audio clip of him saying the N-word. Oh, that'll rile up the liberals and turn off some independent voters. But, days later, we have absolutely nothing. That's probably because they have absolutely nothing. It's happened again, multiple times. This has been happening for years. And the standards of journalism even bothering to report on this, by the way, of course it's going to come from Slate or the Daily Beast, but to have even supposedly mainline corporate media parroting this largely uncritically, and then down the article, like 5 paragraphs later, when reached for response, when we reached out to the claimant here and we wanted this audio recording and they didn't pony it up. Absent that, and with the mildest of criticism or the mildest of asterisks applied, even they're reporting on it as though it's self-evidently true. It falls into the TDS category of Orange Man bad, therefore any negative claim about him must of necessity be true. So Donald Trump reads Mein Kampf every night. He rapes everyone that he sees that has a vagina. Maybe he's rapes everyone he sees with a dick too. Who knows? Maybe they'll make that claim. Donald Trump is secretly bisexual. He had a tryst with Andy Cuomo and his brother. Well, I mean, if they claim it, it must be true, right? It's basically like the entire legacy media has devolved into the Weekly World News. They went out of business, by the way, years ago, and probably more truthful than half of the legacy media. I saw a stink piece the other day where they were rambling and whining about distrust of the mainline media, newsprint and cable and so forth. And it was a poll related to the Trump verdict, right? And they lamented this fact. But people who do not absorb legacy media propaganda overwhelmingly favored Trump and considered the trial a corrupt sham. People that paid attention to Joy Reid and stuff, magically, somehow, they believed that the verdict was proper, that the trial against him was perfectly appropriate, and of course that Orange Man bad. They have that orthodox, very mainstream, lamestream opinion based on literally no evidence because none of these claims against him have ever panned out. What was it? Was it Tom Arnold who claimed he had a tape of Trump saying crazy shit? And then he said, well, I can't release it to the public. I got death threats. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. No, it's because you don't have a fucking tape. It doesn't exist. You don't actually have a tape of him pissing in the Obama's bed. There never was an incident where he was in anime pajamas surrounded by Russian hookers watching porn and relieving himself. None of these things ever happened. The most fantastical claims that you can make about Donald Trump, though, are considered to be the God's honest canonical truth by a certain subset of the population that seems to lack critical thinking skills. They've been so mind-numbed by propaganda that even, let's say, devil's advocate, let's say Trump is a bad dude. It doesn't mean that any specific claim about him is necessarily true, right? Joe Biden is a bad dude. That doesn't mean that if somebody claims that he has a death ray that he uses to incinerate small animals in his backyard, that doesn't mean that the claim is true. Just the fact that he's creepy and he's way too touchy-feely with the young'uns doesn't mean that he actually raped a kid in his basement, now does it? I mean, it's believable, but, you know, we don't have any corroborating evidence. We don't, thankfully, we don't have a video of an elderly Joe Biden sexually assaulting a prepubescent girl or something like that. No, I mean, use some critical thinking. No, Trump used the N-word. Oh, well, that's a little bit too convenient. It just fits in a little bit too well with the other claims about him, but none of them have been actually corroborated. Some of them have been completely disenfranchised. It's been happening for years. It's actually maddening. It gets frustrating because people actually believe this sputum, this fucking horseshit. That's about all. Peace out.